I just wanted some extra sacred geometry pieces here. I watched thousands and thousands of videos. All of the art on the walls here was painted from by my grandfather. I provide these healings because that's what I feel called to do. Hi, my name is Papik. This is my 2004 Fleetwood Flare called Appa. Let me show you around. I've got the tiny wood stoves 4K fireplace here. Absolutely love this thing. I got it in just before the winter, so I've only had a few actual burns in it, but it was amazing, and I look forward to next winter. In the off season here, I use it as a fire-safe place to burn my herbs for the sound healing sessions. This whole wall here, I actually built. This used to be an RV, just a big fishbowl front, and the heat came in so strong, and the cold in the winter came in so strong. I had some curtains hung here, constantly trying to keep the temperature regulated in the rest of the RV, and I lost the battle all the time. So I built this. It's got Havelock wool insulation in there, and I also needed a place for my 4-year-old daughter to sleep, so I've got her cosmic space room up there built. She absolutely loves it. Part of the healing I do, it really has a lot to do with sound and sound frequency, and if you get into the studies of cymatics, sound frequency creates these geometric shapes in water molecules and ice, formations, and it's really an amazing study and a deep topic. But so I have a deep love for sacred geometry, and I just wanted some extra sacred geometry pieces here. So this is just a husky, cheapy toolbox I owned before I got the RV, and I had the idea for the bus in a shamanic journey, and originally it was going to be in a school bus, and I wound up having my mom's husband actually got a job at an RV dealership and said, "Hey, come down and check out the RVs." And I was like, "I don't want an RV. I want to build a bus." And they were like, "Yeah, but you need somewhere to live now, and you can move right in here and build it." And so I was like, "Okay." And the second that I walked into the RV, this one, I saw all the patterns and all of the things that I had made in my mind about the healing facility just like overlaid over the inside of it, and I was like, I can make this work. So this used to be this very uncomfortable couch, and I tore that out, and I put this in, and there was some seat belt anchors in the bottom, so I bolted through, and there's big washers, and this thing is heavy, so I anchored into the seat belt locations. This is just full of everything from jewelry making supplies, nuts and bolts, my tools. I do all my own work on this thing. It holds all of my electronics, go down in there, art supplies, just kind of everything that I have is in there. All my sound healing stuff, all the books for sound healing and everything else that I use in my sessions is just stored up above. And then the only other thing that I really did to the RV is added more geometry here too. I just glued the pieces with some wood glue in there. So basically, I used to drive big trucks, not 18-wheelers, but like about the size of this RV, 26-foot box trucks, and I was delivering lumber, and every time I was in the back of the truck, I would just envision like a house, and I was like, I could live here, and I'm a big survival guy, like an outdoor survival and wilderness kind of, building stuff person. And so I was into survival, and I used to have a business for that, and I was constantly thinking about that. But then I was like, man, if I had this truck turned into a house, I could just drive out in the woods and just sleep in it. And like, I'd never seen anybody doing that. I didn't know it was a thing. It was just like in my head. And then the internet came along. I started watching all these videos, and van life, bus life, all those started to catch on, and I started to see more and more. And I watched thousands and thousands of videos. I watched, all the truck conversion videos, and just all of it just piled in my brain. And then, I wound up with this RV, and it's just, I love it. And the idea of, I grew up in Boulder, and prices were reasonable. I mean, we thought they were expensive then, little did we know. But now they're just astronomical. And I got priced out of my own town, and I didn't want to leave. And so I started looking at alternative living situations, and all those memories about the bus stuff came back, and I was like, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to live in them. And so built this thing, and I lived in it full time for about 2.5 years. And now I live in it sometimes, but I have a home base, and I can go into the house and still park it outside and still use it for sound healing sessions. All right, and this is the sound healing table, and essentially the stuff that's being played through the laptop comes into transducers and bass shakers that are on the bottom of the table, and it creates sound that you can feel. There's no actual speakers. A speaker takes an electrical vibration and vibrates a cone and creates pressure that your ears pick up as sound. There's no cone here. It uses the wood on the table as a vibratory surface. And so not only do you get the audio coming out of the wood on the bed that you can hear with your ears, but you also feel it in a different way. It goes into your body and vibrates the bones, and it goes through all the water in your body. We're 70 to 90% water, so sound moves very quickly through water and even faster through bone. So when you're laying on here, the frequencies just envelop you, and you wind up having this fully immersive feeling. If you close your eyes, you can just drift off into it. My mom actually made the seat cushions for that couch. So the couch used to be a dinette. So if you can imagine, those were split and facing this way, and there was a table there, but it stuck out very far, and it didn't leave a lot of room to get by. And when I live in this thing, most of the time I don't have the luxury of having the slide out. It's in, and it comes in very far, and so having it set up this way just allowed a really clean passage for me to walk back and forth in here without having to go around that dinette. Also, this is where I store all of my food in these little bins, all the dry food that I have. So, all right, this is my bedroom. And, I haven't done a whole lot of remodeling back here. I do have some dreams and some plans, but I haven't settled on anything specifically yet. This environment is where I do my meditation and, just wind down and relax. All of the art on the walls here was painted from by my grandfather. His name is Luis Eads, and he's passed to the other side now, but in his life, he spent 30 years as the fine arts teacher at CU Boulder. And when he passed away, I already had a number of his paintings, but as a family, we decided to donate all of his paintings to people that would just put them up, and just enjoy them and cherish them. And so I took some of my favorites. All my life, I didn't realize how connected my grandfather was until I really started getting into spirituality. But he's got the Assyrian place here, and the sculpture there, and this is actually footage from the rover from Mars when they landed. He used that as the template for this. And in all of his paintings, he has kind of a balance of symmetry and chaos, and just kind of reality and fantasy. So this is my absolute favorite one. So I hung it on there, and that was my only concern about getting a tiny home was, can I hang this painting? And I saw this big wall, and I measured it out, and that was a good day. And actually, I hung it just using Velcro, sticky Velcro. It's been up for 2.5, almost 3 years, and I've never had to adjust it. It's just there. This is my bathroom. I haven't done a whole lot with it yet. There was one of these accordion foldy things, and it got mildewy, and there's no way to clean it. It was gross, so I just replaced it with a normal curtain. I did also replace the shower head there with one of those water saver ones that blasts air through it, and it makes you feel like you're getting pressure, but really it's not. I'm in the process of converting this toilet to a composting toilet. I bought the urine diverter and buckets, and I have all the wood. I just need to do it. But obviously you got to think about when you take down your only way to go to the bathroom and strategically plan that. So. Well, what I do for work, I have, my glamorous job, which is my heart, which is on the lighter note here, and then I have what pays the bills. I work for an automotive manufacturer, and I'm a data guy, and I run our social media, and I run the online pricing policy. But it's all remote, and so I can work from the RV or from the house or whatever, and that pays all the bills, and I do enjoy it. But my passion is the healing. I've decided to make, on the lighter note, a nonprofit organization. It's a free service for people who are struggling with addiction, really of any kind, but I specialize in alcoholic and drug addictions because that's where my passion comes from. But yeah, and people can reach out to On the Lighter Note through our social platforms, and let me know what you have your schedule. But I provide these healings because that's what I feel called to do, and I provide these healings because there's a space in society that needs this type of thing right now, and people are charging a lot of money for some healing sessions, and that's great. More power to you. I totally get that, and I wish that this is what I could do all the time, but my heart tells me that I need to give this as a gift. And so I've created all of this. I built all of this with my own money. I've poured thousands and thousands of dollars and sweat, blood, and tears into making this, just so that I can be able to share the same type of transformational experience that I went through with others who still suffer. This is my kitchen. I love to cook, and I cook most of my food, so I needed more counter space than this, so I got these little bamboo tops, which just kind of come up and act as a TV tray, a bigger TV tray or a dining table, if you will. And then I needed a bigger sink for all my dishes. There was this little tiny micro thing that was here, and so I put in this big thing that has a sprayer so I can do my dishes. The Berkey is a lifesaver. In my belief system, water is just vital to healthy cells, and so I have a lot of precaution about water here. I have a 3-stage water filter down below that I filter all the water that comes into the RV, so even for showering. It also goes through a UV filter, and I have a pump that is an AC pump, but I do have solar, which we'll get to in a moment. That pump allows me to submerge it in any body of water and pump out 90% of everything that's in there. With the 3-stage filter. Does go down to 0.5 micron on its own with UV. And then I fill up these 6-gallon jars here, which I have a bunch more out there as well. Then from those 6-gallon jars, I fill up the Berkey, and anything that is consumed has gone through all of that filtration before it's ingested. Full-size refrigerator and freezer. It can hold more than I ever have on board here, but this used to be the microwave, and I don't use microwaves in my life in general, So this cabinet cover was actually in the front. It was part of the front stuff that I tore out. And so I took out the microwave and installed this cabinet cover here. And these little guys just come out, and I keep my tea and, you know, the like Kachava stuff in there. And also my solar charge controller is in here because it goes up through the refrigerator vent out to the solar panels. Yeah, and the backsplash, so this was just, you know, the same RV print, and it was actually filthy. And I had a problem where this window was leaking, and it caused some damage here, and so I had to cut out a piece of the wall and replace it and reseal that window. And so I just decided to cover it all up after I did that rather than try to paint it or something. And it's just sticky tile, but it goes all the way up and down the other side, and I really like it. Yeah, so I have 600 amps or 600 watts of solar on the roof, 6 100-watt Renogy panels, and that comes down into 3 100 amp hour Battle-Born lithium batteries. Man, when I first moved into this thing, it had the traditional RV lead acid batteries, and I moved into it right before winter, and the universe just handed it to me. It was cold nights and dead batteries, and my furnace wouldn't come on anymore at 2 in the morning, and I'd have to start my generator, and it was just like not fun. So one of the very first things that I wanted to do was, and actually did first, was the solar system. And I saved and saved and saved, and it's been worth every penny for those Battle-Born batteries. I can run everything in here that I run. I don't have a microwave, so that's a huge help, except for my AC units, but I can run everything in here simultaneously, and I don't think I've ever gone below like 30% on my battery, even in the winter running the furnace, which just hogs electricity. Yeah, if you're interested in van life or RV life or bus life or whatever, if it's been something that's been in your mind, just do it. I mean, you can't sit there and look, oh my God, that's a huge project, all the stuff and all the expense, like it falls into place. You just start going. Find a vehicle. That's what you got to do. And maybe it's not your ideal vehicle, like in my situation, but whatever comes across, just open up to the universe and just say, I want this, and be open to receiving, and take out a loan, sell all your stuff and to buy something, move into it and start building it while you're living in there, whatever it takes. Everybody's journey is different, but start. Do something to make it happen. Take one step and then another step and another step. Time is weird, man. So, just you do one thing and it seems like you've got miles to go, but I remember that step like it was yesterday, and I'm sitting here in my dream. And like looking back on it, it wasn't that hard. There were moments that were hard, there were challenges I had to overcome, but that's anything you do. So just start today and go for it. Hit the ground running. Thank you all for watching so much from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate you taking the time to see what I've got going on here. If you know people that are in need of assistance with recovery, or even people that are just kind of lost spiritually and need some direction, have them connect with me. Most of the connections I do are through Instagram. I'm at On the Lighter Note, ONTHELIGHTERNOTE. And I'm here for you, and just connect with me through there, start watching my content, reach out to me in the DMs, and we'll go from there. If you've got anybody that, isn't on social media, I can be emailed on the lighter note 333 @gmail.com.